Have you ever noticed that some older men seem to attract women effortlessly? They're not always the most handsome. They don't have six pack abs. They aren't trying to act like younger men. Yet somehow, when they walk into a room, women notice them. When they speak, people listen. When they interact with women, they often create a level of attraction that many younger men struggle to achieve. So, what's their secret? Is it money? Is it status? Is it experience? Or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? In today's video, we're going to uncover one of the most fascinating concepts in female psychology. And surprisingly, it revolves around just two words that many older men naturally use without even realizing how powerful they are. Now, before we begin, let's make one thing clear. This is not a manipulation technique. This is not a magic phrase. And this is definitely not a cheesy pickup line. Attraction doesn't work that way. Real attraction is psychological, it's emotional, it's subtle, and often the smallest behaviors create the biggest impact. The reason these two words are so effective has very little to do with the words themselves and everything to do with the mindset behind them. Because women don't simply respond to what a man says, they respond to what his words communicate about who he is, and that's where most men make a huge mistake. Many men believe attraction is about impressing women. They think they need to show off their achievements, talk about their success, buy expensive things, constantly seek attention, or prove their worth at every opportunity. But in reality, these behaviors often have the opposite effect. Why? Because attraction is rarely built through desperation. It's built through confidence, and confidence doesn't need validation. The more a man tries to convince a woman that he's valuable, the more he unintentionally communicates doubt about his own value. Think about that for a moment. A truly confident person doesn't spend all day proving themselves. They simply know who they are, and that self-assurance is incredibly attractive. This is one of the biggest advantages older men often possess. Life experience. They've faced challenges, they've experienced failure, they've dealt with disappointment, they've learned lessons through success and hardship. Over time, these experiences tend to create emotional stability, and emotional stability is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. Female psychology is wired to notice this. While physical appearance can create initial attraction, emotional qualities often determine whether attraction grows stronger or fades away. Women naturally evaluate certain traits in men. Is he calm under pressure? Does he constantly seek approval? Is he emotionally strong? Can he handle challenges without falling apart? Does he have self-respect? These questions often operate below conscious awareness. A woman may not actively think about them, but her brain is constantly gathering information and forming impressions. This is why two men can say the exact same thing and get completely different reactions. One man sounds attractive, the other sounds insecure. The words are identical. The mindset behind them is not. Imagine a man who constantly seeks validation. He's always trying to impress, always trying to gain approval, always worried about saying the wrong thing. Every conversation feels like an interview. Every interaction feels like a performance. Women can sense this energy, and it often creates pressure rather than attraction. Now compare that to another man. He's relaxed, comfortable with himself, not trying to impress anyone, not afraid of disagreement, not desperate for attention. He speaks naturally, he listens carefully, and he communicates from a position of confidence rather than neediness. Immediately, the dynamic changes. People feel more comfortable around him. His presence feels stronger, and attraction becomes much easier to develop. This is one reason older men often appear more attractive than younger men. Not because they're older, but because many of them have learned something younger men haven't yet mastered: emotional control, the ability to remain calm, the ability to maintain self-respect, the ability to walk away from situations that don't serve them. And this brings us closer to the two words we're discussing today. These words carry a hidden psychological message, a message that communicates confidence, self-worth, and emotional independence. When used naturally, they trigger something important inside female psychology. Not because the words are magical, but because they signal qualities that women instinctively respect. And respect is one of the foundations of attraction. Without respect, attraction struggles to survive. With respect, attraction often grows naturally. Now, here's another important concept. Human beings are naturally drawn toward things they perceive as valuable. This principle applies to friendships, business relationships, social status, and romantic attraction. But value isn't only about money or appearance. In fact, some of the most valuable traits have nothing to do with either. Self respect, confidence, purpose, emotional maturity, boundaries. These characteristics create a powerful presence. When a man possesses these qualities, people feel it. They may not always be able to explain it, but they notice it. Women especially tend to notice the emotional signals behind a man's behavior. That's why a simple sentence can sometimes create a stronger impression than a long speech, because the emotional message behind the sentence matters more than the sentence itself. In the next part of this video, we're going to reveal the two words that many older men use naturally and explain why they have such a powerful effect on female psychology. We'll break down exactly what these words mean, why they work when they should be used, and how they instantly separate confident men from those who constantly seek validation. We'll also look at real life examples that demonstrate the psychological impact behind them. And trust me, when you hear these two words, you might be surprised by how simple they are, yet their influence can completely change the way women perceive a man. So stay with me, because the most important part of this discussion is coming next. Now it's time to reveal the two words we've been building up to. The two words many confident older men use naturally. The two words that often create respect, curiosity, and attraction without sounding aggressive or desperate. Those two words are, that's fine, simple, right? In fact, they're so simple that many people underestimate them. Some viewers may even be disappointed. Wait, that's it? Yes. But remember what we discussed in part one. Attraction is not about the words themselves. It's about what those words communicate. And that's fine communicates something incredibly powerful. It says, I respect myself. I'm emotionally stable. I don't need to force outcomes. I don't need everyone to agree with me. I'm okay either way. And that mindset is extremely attractive. Let's understand why. Why most men react the wrong way. Imagine a woman cancels a date at the last minute. An insecure man might respond like this. Why? Did I do something wrong? Are you upset? Can we reschedule immediately? Please let me know. Notice what's happening. He's seeking reassurance. He's looking for validation. He's afraid of losing the opportunity. And that fear becomes visible. Now compare that to a confident older man. She cancels. He simply replies, that's fine, maybe another time. Short, calm, respectful, no drama, no pressure, no emotional collapse. Immediately, the entire energy changes. Instead of communicating neediness, he communicates strength. Instead of chasing, he remains centered. And female psychology notices this difference instantly. Women are attracted to emotional strength. One of the biggest misunderstandings about attraction is that men think women are impressed by effort alone. But effort without confidence often becomes neediness. Women generally feel safer around emotionally stable men. Why? Because emotional stability suggests leadership. It suggests maturity. It suggests confidence under pressure. Think about real life. When problems arise, who appears stronger? The person who panics or the person who remains calm? The answer is obvious. This is exactly why "that's fine" is so powerful. It shows emotional control. It shows that a man isn't controlled by every little situation. And emotional control creates attraction. The scarcity principle. There's another psychological factor involved. Human beings naturally value things that don't desperately seek approval. Imagine two salespeople. The first one constantly begs you to buy. The second simply explains the offer and lets you decide. Who seems more valuable? Who appears more confident? Usually the second person. The same principle applies in relationships. When a man appears desperate for attention, he lowers his perceived value. When he appears comfortable whether he gets attention or not, his value increases. That's exactly what "that's fine" communicates. It signals abundance instead of scarcity, confidence instead of fear, strength instead of desperation. the difference between confidence and arrogance. Now let's clear up something important. Many men misunderstand this concept. They think confidence means acting cold, ignoring women, being rude, playing games. That's not confidence. That's insecurity disguised as confidence. A truly confident man doesn't punish people. He doesn't become arrogant. He doesn't try to prove dominance. He simply remains emotionally balanced. For example, woman, I don't think I can make it tonight. Confident man, that's fine. Hope everything goes well. Notice how respectful that sounds. No anger, no manipulation, no guilt trip, just maturity. And maturity is attractive. Why older men use these words naturally. You may wonder why older men seem better at this. The answer is simple: experience. After enough years, most mature men realize something important. Not every opportunity is meant for them. Not every woman will like them. Not every situation will go their way. And that's okay. They stop trying to control everything. They stop chasing every outcome. They stop seeking approval from everyone they meet. This mindset creates freedom, and freedom creates confidence. A younger man often thinks, what if I lose her? An older, confident man thinks, if it works, great. If not, that's fine. See the difference? One mindset comes from fear, the other comes from self respect. The hidden message. Women hear when a confident man says, that's fine, women often hear a much deeper message. Subconsciously, it sounds like, this man values himself. This man isn't desperate. This man has options. This man can handle disappointment. This man doesn't need constant validation. These traits are attractive because they indicate emotional security, and emotional security is rare. Many people today are constantly seeking approval through social media, messages, and attention. Someone who remains grounded stands out immediately. Real life example. Let's imagine two different scenarios. Scenario A, a woman takes several hours to reply. The man sends, hello? Are you there? Did I say something wrong? Why aren't you responding? Now she feels pressure. The conversation becomes uncomfortable. Scenario B, the woman takes several hours to reply. The man continues his day. When she finally responds, he simply continues the conversation naturally. No complaints, no drama, no neediness. His attitude basically says, that's fine. Which man appears more attractive? The answer is obvious. One seems dependent on attention, the other seems secure without it. And security creates attraction. The most attractive part. Here's the fascinating part. Women aren't attracted to the phrase itself, they're attracted to the emotional state behind it. You could say, that's fine. No worries. All good. Not a problem. The exact words matter less than the energy behind them. What matters is genuine confidence. What matters is emotional independence. What matters is the ability to remain calm when things don't go exactly as planned. And that's what many older men have mastered. They understand that confidence isn't about controlling other people. It's about controlling yourself. It's about staying calm, staying grounded, and refusing to let fear dictate your behavior. In the next part, we're going to go even deeper. We'll examine real-world situations, detailed examples, and step-by-step methods that show exactly how confident older men communicate in ways that naturally trigger attraction and respect in female psychology. Because knowing the words is only the beginning. Understanding how to embody the mindset behind them is where the real transformation happens. Now that we've revealed the two words, that's fine, it's time to understand something even more important. Knowing the words is easy. Living the mindset behind them is difficult. And this is where most men fail. Many men hear advice like this and immediately think, okay, from now on, I'll just say, that's fine to everything. But that's not how attraction works. Women are incredibly good at detecting authenticity. If the words are confident but the emotions behind them are fearful, the effect disappears. The power comes from genuinely meaning what you say. And that's what we're going to explore in this section. Case study number 1, the rejected date. Let's imagine a common situation. A man asks a woman out. She replies, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm available this weekend. Most men instantly start negotiating. How about next weekend? What day works best? Are you sure? Maybe just for coffee. Notice what's happening. They're trying to avoid rejection. They're trying to force a positive outcome. But confidence doesn't force outcomes. Confidence accepts reality. Now let's look at the mature man's response. She says, "I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm available this weekend." He responds, "That's fine. Maybe another time. Have a great weekend." And then he moves on, not because he doesn't care, not because he's pretending, but because he understands something powerful. You cannot negotiate attraction. You cannot pressure interest. You cannot force enthusiasm. If she is interested, she'll come back. If she isn't, chasing won't help. This attitude immediately separates confident men from needy men. Why walking away creates respect. One of the biggest lessons older men learn is this: respect often comes before attraction, and people respect individuals who respect themselves. Imagine a business owner who desperately lowers prices every time someone hesitates. He appears weak. Now imagine a business owner who calmly says, "This is the value of the product. If the customer buys, great. If not, that's okay." Who seems more confident? The second person. The same principle applies to dating. A man who can walk away from situations with dignity often appears more attractive than a man who constantly chases. Not because walking away is a trick, but because it demonstrates self-respect. Case study number 2, the delayed text message. This is one of the most common mistakes men make. A woman doesn't reply for several hours. Immediately, the man's imagination takes over. Is she ignoring me? Did I say something wrong? Maybe she's losing interest. His anxiety grows. Then he sends another message, and another, and another. Now let's compare this to the confident older man. He sends a message. No reply. Hours pass. He continues living his life, working, exercising, meeting friends, enjoying hobbies. When she replies later, he responds normally. No complaints, no interrogation, no emotional reaction. Why? Because his happiness doesn't depend on a single text message, and that independence is attractive. Women often feel drawn toward men who already have fulfilling lives, men whose world doesn't revolve around female attention. The psychology of emotional independence. This is where many younger men misunderstand attraction. They believe women are attracted to men who need them. In reality, women are often attracted to men who want them but don't need them. There's a huge difference. Neediness says, "I can't be happy without you." Confidence says, "I enjoy my life and I'd love to share it with you." One creates pressure, the other creates freedom. And people are naturally drawn to freedom. When an older man says, "That's fine," he's often communicating emotional independence. He's saying, "My happiness doesn't depend on controlling this situation." That's an incredibly powerful message. Step 1, stop seeking constant validation. The first habit confident older men develop is reducing their dependence on external approval. Many men constantly ask themselves, "Does she like me? What does she think of me? How can I impress her?" Confident men ask different questions. Do I enjoy spending time with her? Are our values compatible? Do we have a genuine connection? Notice the shift? The focus moves from seeking approval to evaluating compatibility. That's a massive difference, and women can feel it. Step 2, become comfortable with uncertainty. Life is uncertain. Relationships are uncertain. Attraction is uncertain. Yet many men spend enormous energy trying to eliminate uncertainty. They want guarantees, they want reassurance, they want certainty. But confidence means becoming comfortable without guarantees. Older men often understand this because life has taught them an important lesson. Nothing is guaranteed. And that's okay. When uncertainty appears, they naturally think, "That's fine." Not because they don't care, but because they can handle uncertainty without panic. Step 3, build a life beyond dating. One reason older men often appear attractive is because many have built identities outside of relationships. They have careers, friendships, interests, responsibilities, goals. Their entire self-worth isn't tied to romantic success. This is crucial because when a man's entire happiness depends on female attention, he becomes emotionally fragile. But when he has a meaningful life, attraction becomes a bonus rather than a necessity. Women often sense this difference immediately. A man with purpose feels different. He carries himself differently. He communicates differently. His confidence feels natural rather than forced. Case study number 3, the disagreement. Let's say a woman disagrees with a man's opinion. An insecure man might immediately change his position. He wants approval. He wants acceptance. He's afraid disagreement will create rejection. But a confident man remains respectful while standing by his views. Woman, I don't agree with that. Confident man, that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. Notice how powerful that is. No argument, no defensiveness, no need to win, just calm confidence. This communicates emotional strength, and emotional strength is attractive. The real secret behind the two words. At this point, you may have noticed something. The phrase itself isn't the secret, the mindset is. That's fine works because it reflects emotional control, self respect, confidence, independence, maturity, security. Women are not attracted to the words, they are attracted to the qualities the words reveal. That's why simply memorizing the phrase won't change your results. You must develop the mindset behind it. You must genuinely become comfortable with uncertainty, comfortable with rejection, comfortable with disagreement, comfortable with outcomes you cannot control. And when that happens, something interesting occurs. Your behavior changes naturally. Your communication becomes calmer. Your confidence becomes genuine. And people, including women, begin responding differently to you. In the next section, we'll discuss the biggest mistakes men make when trying to apply this concept, why some men accidentally become cold or arrogant, and the practical ways to develop true confidence without pushing people away. By now, you've probably realized something important. The phrase, that's fine, is not a trick. It's not a shortcut. And it's definitely not a magic formula that instantly makes women attracted to you. The real power lies in the mindset behind those words. Unfortunately, this is where many men go wrong. They hear advice about confidence, emotional independence, and self respect, but they misunderstand it completely. Instead of becoming confident, they become cold. Instead of becoming secure, they become arrogant. Instead of becoming attractive, they push people away. So, in this section, we're going to discuss the biggest mistakes men make when trying to apply this concept and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, pretending not to care. This is probably the most common mistake. A man hears that confidence means not being needy, so he decides to act like he doesn't care about anything. A woman texts him, he intentionally waits 3 days to respond. A woman asks a question, he gives one-word answers. A woman shows interest, he acts distant. He thinks he's being mysterious, but what he's actually communicating is emotional immaturity. Confidence doesn't mean you don't care. Confidence means you're okay even when things don't go your way. There's a huge difference. A confident older man can genuinely like a woman while remaining emotionally balanced. He doesn't hide his interest, he simply doesn't become dependent on the outcome. That's what makes him attractive. Mistake number 2, using confidence as a game. Some men treat attraction like a strategy game. Every conversation becomes a technique. Every message becomes a tactic. Every interaction becomes manipulation. They think, if I say this, she'll chase me. If I ignore her, she'll want me more. If I disappear, she'll become obsessed. This approach usually backfires. Why? Because healthy attraction is built on authenticity. Women may not always consciously identify manipulation, but they often feel when someone's behavior isn't genuine. And once trust disappears, attraction often disappears too. The most attractive men aren't constantly calculating their next move. They're simply being themselves, they're honest, they're relaxed, and they're comfortable with whatever happens. Mistake number 3, becoming arrogant. There's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. Confidence says, I know my value. Arrogance says, I'm better than everyone else. Confidence is attractive. Arrogance is exhausting. A confident man respects other people. An arrogant man looks down on them. A confident man listens. An arrogant man only talks. A confident man remains humble. An arrogant man constantly seeks superiority. Many men accidentally become arrogant because they're trying to protect themselves from rejection. Deep down, they're still insecure, they're just hiding it behind an attitude. But genuine confidence doesn't require a mask, it doesn't require pretending to be important. It comes from accepting yourself exactly as you are. Mistake number 4, taking rejection personally. One of the biggest emotional challenges men face is rejection. A woman isn't interested, a date doesn't work out, a conversation goes nowhere. Many men immediately interpret this as proof that something is wrong with them. But mature men understand something different. Not every connection is meant to happen, and that's perfectly normal. Think about your own life. Are you attracted to every person you meet? Of course not. Different people have different preferences, different values, different personalities. The same is true for women. If one woman isn't interested, it doesn't automatically mean you're unattractive. It simply means compatibility wasn't there. And when you truly understand this, rejection loses much of its power. You stop seeing it as a personal attack. You start seeing it as information, and that's a healthier mindset. Mistake number 5, making women the center of your life. This mistake destroys confidence faster than almost anything else. Many men make female attention their primary source of happiness. When attention is present, they feel good. When attention disappears, they feel terrible. This creates emotional dependency, and emotional dependency often leads to neediness. Older men who appear attractive usually have something else going on in their lives: purpose, goals, responsibilities, projects, passions, friendships. Their identity isn't built entirely around dating. Because of this, they don't panic when romantic situations become uncertain. They already have a meaningful life, and that makes them naturally more attractive. Practical solution number 1, develop internal validation. One of the most powerful habits you can build is learning to validate yourself. Most people spend their lives waiting for others to tell them they're valuable, but confidence starts when you stop outsourcing your self-worth. Ask yourself, do you respect your own decisions? Do you keep your promises to yourself? Do you pursue your goals? Do you live according to your values? If the answer is yes, confidence begins to grow naturally, and once that happens, you need less approval from others. Practical solution number 2, improve your life, not just your dating life. Many men focus exclusively on attracting women, but truly confident men focus on improving themselves. They work on their health, their finances, their communication skills, their mindset, their emotional intelligence. Ironically, when you stop making attraction your only goal and start improving your overall life, attraction often increases naturally. Women are generally attracted to men who are moving forward, men who have direction, men who are building something meaningful. Practical solution number 3, learn emotional control. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means managing them effectively. You can feel disappointed without falling apart. You can feel rejected without becoming bitter. You can feel uncertain without becoming desperate. This skill takes practice, but it's one of the most valuable qualities a man can develop. Every time life doesn't go your way, ask yourself, can I remain calm? Can I respond instead of react? Can I handle this with maturity? That's exactly what emotionally strong men do. Practical solution number 4, become comfortable being alone. This is one of the greatest superpowers a man can develop. Many people fear being alone, so they tolerate unhealthy situations. They chase unavailable people. They settle for less than they deserve. Confident men understand something different. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. When you're comfortable with your own company, you stop making decisions out of fear. And when fear stops controlling you, confidence grows rapidly. The ultimate lesson. At the heart of everything we've discussed is one simple truth. Women are often attracted to men who are emotionally secure. Not perfect, not rich, not famous, not flawless, emotionally secure. And emotional security is exactly what the phrase, "that's fine," represents. It represents acceptance, confidence, self-respect, and emotional stability. When challenges appear, emotionally secure men don't panic. When rejection appears, they don't collapse. When uncertainty appears, they remain calm. and that's why they stand out. In the final part of this video, we'll bring everything together, discuss how these principles can transform not only your dating life, but your entire mindset, and reveal the most important takeaway every man should remember about attraction and female psychology.